Hello, my name is Sharon. I'm with Maggie Bell Posh, and I make wreaths and centerpieces and metal decor for any season. But today I want to show you how to make a very simple grapevine wreath for any season you choose, spring, summer, fall, whatever it may be, or every day, and using only materials that you can get readily accessible to you. And that would be, say, like a place like Hobby Lobby or Michael's. So first of all, the things we're going to use today are a grapevine wreath. I've chosen a 16-inch oval grapevine wreath. You can choose a round or any other shape you like. The first thing I do is I usually clean out the leaves, and then I smooth out the back so that nothing will scratch the back door or wherever you choose to hang it. I also put a hanger on mine. You don't have to do that. These wreaths will hang just as easily on the wreath hanger that you have without a hanger on the back. And by the way, I do have a YouTube video that shows you how to clean out your wreath and smooth out the back if you choose to do that too. So I've got the grapevine wreath ready to go. The other things that we're going to need are some flowers. I've chosen this bundle, two of these bundles in fact, from Hobby Lobby because they're mixed. They have the flowers, they have the berries, they have the greenery, and so half your work is done for you already. And again, I have chosen two of these, and I'll show you why as we get started. Here's the other one. And also, I pre-made a bow, and there is a YouTube video on how to make a bow. In fact, there are many, I have several, that we can choose to put on here as additional decoration. Here's one I made, here's another that might be an option. And then if you choose to, you can also add some greenery toward the back. This always does fill it out more and make it look a lot prettier. These are some branches that I cut off of a bush that, again, I got from Hobby Lobby. This is where those two branches came from, this bush right here. And you'll need some tools. You're going to need some wire cutters to cut the stems on your flowers. And to anchor them into the grapevine wreath, you're going to either need some wire. You can wire them in, like this paddle wire that came from Michael's. You can zip tie them in, or else you can glue them in if you have a hot glue gun. I usually glue mine in, but today, for purposes of simplicity, we're going to use the zip ties. Okay, so let's get started. First thing you want to do, first thing I do, is I choose a place for my bow to go. And I usually choose about the 10 o'clock position and call that my equator. So if I put the bow here, then I'm going to have one bundle of the flowers that I've chosen from Hobby Lobby to come out over here. And by the way, you do know that Hobby Lobby has their greenery and flowers and so forth on sale for 40% off every other week now, so you might wait to get those, so it will really be inexpensive. But this is the equator, so I'm going to have one bunch going over the wreath this way. I'm going to have the other bunch draping down from the bow this way. So let's get going. In this case, I've zip tied the bow together. That's what's holding it together. And again, there's a video on my YouTube channel. And I put a pipe cleaner in there so that I can run this through the grapevine. I don't usually go around. I think it looks nicer to go through. So I'm about at the 10 o'clock position, and I'm going to run these two ends of the pipe cleaner through. Sometimes it's easy and sometimes it takes a little bit of work, but it will eventually go. Okay, so here we have it at about the 10 o'clock position. Okay, that's about right. We'll fluff up the both end. We don't need to be doing that right now. Okay, so then I'm going to tie it off. I'm just twisting the pipe cleaner around and around on the back. I'll show you, right like that. And I've chosen brown so you can't see it, very well. But anyway, that's our bow. Okay, now we're going to take one bundle of greenery, and we're going to, I have to cut the stem a bit, but we're going to insert it back behind the bow and kind of run it across the top. I've taken the time to spread these out. You can do that You kind of have to give them a little life, and we'll bend the stems and all that a little later. So now I'm going to guesstimate about how long I need to have this stem so I can insert it. So I'm going to cut off just about this much with the wire cutters. And sometimes it takes a little bit of strength. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this behind the bow down into the grapevine. And I'm going to bend it back a little bit. Let me get a little bit closer. In fact, I see a cross piece of the grapevine. Sometimes you can see the wire that holds it together, the grapevine piece that holds it together going across. I'm going to put it behind there to anchor it further and put it down in the grapevine. And then to make sure it stays, I'm going to take one of these little zip ties. These are 4 inches. They come in all kinds of sizes. Get any size you want. This would probably stay quite well by itself or even with hot glue, but we're going to put some insurance on it. And run this little zip tie through. Once again, I'm not going around. I'm trying to go through the grapevines because this makes it look a lot nicer. Okay, here we go. We're going to zip tie it in. Okay, we'll cut off the excess part of the zip tie a little bit later on, but for our purposes, I just want to show you now. We're going to bend these to our will. I'm going to bend them to match the curve of the grapevine. And I probably will come back and insert another zip tie right about there, just so it'll kind of hold it back. It's wanting to come forward. So I'm going to hold it back here. Okay. There's not a lot of extra room in these little 4-inch zip ties, so you might want to get some that are a little bit longer to give you a little bit more leeway. Okay, bend it down and some of the flowers forward. There'll be time for fluffing, time enough for fluffing later on. Bring the greenery down. Now you see the bow will hide the mechanics when we get it fluffed up. It's going to hide the mechanics. Okay, now the next one, once again, we're going to snip off part of this long stem because we're not going to need it. And we're going to go up under the bow. Again, the equator. This is where things change direction. Okay. And I'm going to bend it to match the curve of the grapevine. Bend it back a little bit. We can bend the flowers forward or however we determine they're going to look. And we want them to look. Bring the berries out this way and that. Now this time I think I'm just going to anchor this right here. I've got a cross piece. Bring this down a little bit. Yeah, just got a cross piece right here. So I'm just going to kind of, for the time being, anchor this right here with a zip tie or the wire. Either one you choose. Sometimes this takes a bit of manhandling, but it works. Okay. Now we're going to fluff our bow. You might want to cut these tails a little bit longer, shorter. You can't cut longer, but a little bit shorter, I should say, as you go, after you're finished, and take a good look at your grapevine. Okay, you can call this done. That's as simple as that, and what have we been, about 7 or 8 minutes. However, if you want to add some additional greenery or something that you might have, but we're going to go in the back behind the flowers and add this in just to add a little bit more interest. So now I'm going in to the grapevine. In fact, I'm going to go in a little bit more up here. And I probably would anchor this in 2 places. In the interest of time, I'm just going to anchor it in one right now down here. But I would anchor it up there at the top too with a zip tie or some wire or glue, whichever. Okay. Zip tying in. I got that zip tie turn wrong. You'll never go in that way. And by the way, you know that if you don't hear the zip, you didn't get that zip tie tied. You got to turn wrong. You have to turn it backwards again. I'll go back and trim that off. Okay, so now we've got just a little bit of feathery looking greenery down there, and we're going to put the same across the top. We would start again at our equator behind our flowers. I can even use the same zip tie right here, I believe. So I don't even have to go back and do another one. But I will now bring this across. I think I want this a little bit more further up though. So we'll put it in the grapevine, zip tie that part in, and then we would zip tie, would go ahead and zip tie this part in too, so it'll make it stay. Okay. Probably have my head where you can't see, but sorry about that. Just trying to get this zip tie in here. And by the way, when you do zip ties, I had to learn this the hard way. The flat end is where this goes in, so be sure you have it inserted that way. I inserted many a zip tie wrong. You just have to either turn it around or do it over, and that's no good. So here we go. Okay, finesse that later. Okay, now you have added some greenery, and you can add more greenery if you wish. If you want to get real fancy, you could put a whole bunch of greenery down here so that you have a lot of interest at the bottom. I probably will go back and take off some more stems of this and put it in here. In fact, let's just do that to make it look a little bit more filled out right in here. I would put an additional one in, just cutting this off. And I would go back and put this within the grapevine, insert it, and zip tie it in so you have a little bit more featheriness in here, and you could add even a little bit more. Now also, if you wanted to, you could get some additional flowers. I bought this bush also at, this came from Michael's, I believe, and I cut a couple off. These are in coordinating colors, so that you have your very long stem. I'm going to need to cut that just a little bit. And I would maybe put these somewhere around in here just to add a little bit more. And I have several, so you can add as many as you want. Okay, that adds a little bit of interest in there. And then I probably will get another one of a coordinating color. Say like this. I'm cutting it off kind of long so I can have extra stem. And then maybe put it, say, right in here. I'm inserting it into the stems of the grapevine. And so you have a little bit more interest. Now I have plenty of these, so I can go back and add as many as I want, but you're done. We've been about 15 minutes and we've made the wreath, and that's all there is to it. So be sure to check out my other YouTube videos, the ones including how to make the bow, and thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe too.